It's official, everyone. We've left the Town of Beginnings. Hello, virtual dreamers. Gregory here, and welcome to the Prologue, a weekly series of videos where I track my stats, complete quests, and document my activities, all for the sake of creating my dream virtual reality rig. This week was mostly very productive, with a few little hitches here and there in the process. I ran into a couple of troubles trying to get the main task out of the way here, but I think, as you'll be able to judge by some of the footage I provide later, we managed to get things done regardless, and I'll let you guys all know what we managed to accomplish here once we've just tracked down the stats that we have. So yeah, let's get to saving whatever we managed to pull off and move on ahead of here. To sum up all the points for this week, we managed to get a full 7 points in game development, 5 points for engineering, 7 points in Japanese, and only 2 points for fitness. I'd say that's a pretty good turnout, all things told. Well then, everybody, it's time to go over the quest for this week, which was Virtual Reality Rig Principle Demonstration. The task basically asks that I demonstrate the very principle of my virtual reality rig utilizing a Arduino as well as a MyoWare system in order to communicate with Unreal Engine and manipulate a virtual object. I'm glad to say it, everybody, but the quest for the week of October 20th through to October 26th, VR Rig Principle Demonstration is complete! Well, I say cleared, but it's kind of cleared in a very different manner than I was initially expecting it to, because I wound up not having to do as much work as I expected in one area, but also ended up having to do way more work in another, and only to find out that it wasn't necessary at all. It's kind of a bit of a weird mixed bag, but to explain the whole situation, I realized fairly quickly that I wouldn't actually have to solder the whole shield on at this very point. I managed to get all the equipment for it. I mean, I have solder wick, the solder sucker thing, as well as all the other gear that I would need to properly do that. But I also kind of realized that for the kind of test I'm doing, even the regular Myo armband setup that I was using was more than fine for how it turned out. And yeah, I just wound up connecting it up to a breadboard and using a bunch of extra extension cables in order to simplify the whole process, but it all ended up working just fine, and it gave the results I was hoping for. And in terms of the connection to Unreal Engine, that actually had me pretty bothered for a good part of the week because I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And when I finally managed to get things kind of working, I wound up having to use an older version of UE4 because there were some issues with the newer version. But when I finally got the connection going, I started noticing that the data was kind of off from what I was expecting. And not in the way I was expecting it either, because it's like, it felt as though it was using older data than I was expecting. Like, hey, my arm was doing this at that point, so I kind of see the pattern emerging, but at the same time, it should be at this point, so why are we reading data from before or now? And it turns out that the Arduino is too fast for Unreal Engine. Yeah, too fast. That's right. The Arduino is so fast that Unreal Engine can't keep up with it, and it can only really just keep track of whatever data the Arduino is reporting at a certain point. And in addition, if I don't flush the port all the time, the Arduino will basically just create so much data in the time that it takes Unreal Engine to read each time that there's no way for it to adequately keep up. This problem isn't actually a problem. If anything, this is like, holy mackerel, we just hit gold, people. Like, whoa! I mean, seriously, you might as well, as a programmer guy, this is basically like being told, yeah, there's no lag, period. Whatever lag there is completely and utterly pointless or meaningless, and you can basically go nuts. That is, yeah, that's nice. That is very nice. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, that was good from the Unreal part, but I needed to check the latency on the whole armband itself, and I managed to do that just fine using the serial plotter and the Arduino thing. I probably could have done that months ago, but yeah, that also turned out just fine. I kept flexing my arm, not flexing it, unflexing it, yeah, just doing that. And I couldn't really notice the lag. It was practically instantaneous. So, yeah, everybody, this is it. There is no other thing to question. I mean, I'm probably playing some footage right now that shows you And the whole armband thing with the serial plotter, you can see the thing going up and down in the video as well as the footage. But yeah, this is it, everybody. There's no other doubts that need to be checked. Basically, the only thing standing between me and having that VR rig right now is building it. That is it. I just have to execute on the core principle. The whole latency - being too fast thing is the opposite of a problem. I just need to set up a protocol, and I could have done that right now, but there'd be no point in it because, quite frankly, I'm not actually going to directly have the MyoWare talk to Unreal Engine. That is a kind of unnecessary step, and it essentially would just tie down the VR rig to that one particular engine. Instead, what I plan to do is have the whole electromyogram array kind of communicate to its own onboard computer, and then have whatever the virtual body that is generated by that array be communicate as an API with the rest of Windows and Linux or whatever operating system I'm working with, so that it can be used in a variety of applications. So yeah, everybody, this is it. The Town of Beginnings is officially receding into the horizon. We are long past that now. Oh man. Sorry, I'm just so sorry, everybody. I'm so excited that after 5 years of imagining this, that I can finally actually start doing the work, that the go-ahead is here. I mean, if this is going to work, I believe that it's going to work. I have no reason to not, but yeah, this is going to happen, everybody. The work is beginning. We've still got a long way to go, but I'm glad that we'll be able to see something great at the end of it, instead of having everything just turn out to be, nope, not good enough right at this stage. Yeah, we're ready, everybody. Let's go. Well then, everybody, that just about does it for that quest, so it's time for me to prepare the quest for the week of October 27th through to November 2nd. Make some noise. Some of you might have noticed this box right up here in the last week. This is an Akai Professional MPK keyboard or MIDI controller that is used in order to communicate with a digital audio workstation in a computer. For anybody wondering what that's for, it basically lets you make music on your computer if you're using a program. But yeah, I've had Fruity Loop Studio for a while now, and I've really wanted to be able to really properly use the thing, but I always kept not doing so, just out of either disinterest, not wanting to spend the time immediately, and just the feeling that if I really want to use this thing, I kind of want to deal with a MIDI controller. And I finally set the time and budget just to say, hey, get this thing out of your Amazon cart - the buy later thing, and just put it in there and buy it so you can get it out of your head. And I did it. And I really am glad I did, because it's been so much fun for the past week. I've just been, whenever I have a chance, just opening up Fruity Loops and hitting the keys, putting in different instruments, and it's fun. It just feels good to be able to make some sound whenever you hit the keyboard, and it's entertaining, and I like it. And I'm really glad I wound up buying this thing, but I think it's time that I start doing something a little bit more involved with it. So the task for this week is going to be to use the new MPK keyboard, as well as going through the rest of the Getting Started guide for Fruity Loops and using that in order to properly just start making some sound, or music, basically. I mean, I'm not too sure I'm going to be able to call what a complete musical amateur creates on their first tries with a brand new tool music, but still, you gotta start somewhere, and I want to try to make a little bit of a rhythm or something, you know, a little bit more than that little tone that I did last time. I actually want to be able to just stop the video whenever I play the sound, just have that play for a moment, and let you guys judge it for whatever it is. Whether that's garbage, a nice little interesting tune, or whatever. We'll see how it turns out in the end, and I'm just glad that I get to explore another artistic vector, because it really does feel different than every other type of medium I've worked with. Well then, everybody, that just about does it for me, but you all had a quest to be completing as well. Your quest? Hey, I got that reference too. Asked that you guys report the name and the song that were a part of a reference that I noticed in an anime earlier this year. We only had one clearer for this quest, and that clearer was Genetically Modified Coco. Congratulations, Genetically Modified Coco, for completing the quest. Everybody, the answer to that quest was Meruto by Hatsune Miku, created and composed by Supercell, as well as the anime Wotaku ni Koi wa Muzukashii. I think Genetically Modified Coco had a bit of an advantage here compared to the majority of you, just because they seem to understand the Japanese, so whenever I said the line, Tokete shimai so. They managed to look it up on probably Google using Japanese, and that will probably directly take them to it, just because I have a feeling that more Japanese viewers managed to get the reference versus us Westerners who probably wouldn't be able to immediately notice the translation, one that's just in subtitles or even dubs maybe. But yeah, they managed to clear the quest, so congratulations genetically modified Coco for completing the quest. Your selection for a character for me to draw this week was Higuchi from Tatami Galaxy. Tatami Galaxy is one of those series where I've wanted to watch it for a little while, but just due to the lack of time, I haven't really taken the time for it. And I know I'm going to like it because apparently it takes place more in college, and as somebody who's of college age myself, I found myself enjoying these kind of young adult kind of early adult life thing, anime, TV things. It's just I don't know, I guess when you can relate to things a lot more, you can just kind of get into it a little bit more. And yeah, I've been enjoying more series like that. That's part of the reason why I watched Wataku ni Koi wa Muzikashi earlier this year. So yeah, I had to kind of look into the character for this time, and the first thing that stuck out to me is, oh my gosh, that chin! Yeah, this anime definitely has a very distinct art style, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it just immediately caught my eye, and I was like, what am I gonna do with that? I mean, I never really exaggerate proportions whenever I do it beyond the usual anime stuff, so just seeing a character with such a massive chin and that distinct, almost old school Japanese art style, it's like, whoa, how am I gonna tackle this? So yeah, I just did the best that I could, and I tried to get the elements that immediately stuck out to me. The massive chin, as well as his kind of like almost samurai hairdo and the whole closed eye thing that you see in a lot of animes. And yeah, I just tried to capture those, but I wanted to do it in a more subtle way without putting as much attention to the massive chin. So what I decided to do was just position him a little bit more looking back, and it's like we're kind of looking over his shoulder. And that kind of gave me a little bit of an interesting angle, because it let me kind of put less attention onto his big chin and just kind of accentuate some of the other subtle facets, like the way his eyes are kind of closed and the whole like hair down dash ponytail thing that he has going on, because that's one of those facets that you don't really pay as much attention to whenever somebody has a very big glaring feature. So I just wanted to get a little bit more attention onto those. I hope that you like the final result, genetically modified Coco. It was a very interesting piece for me to draw, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to explore a new character in a new world and universe. I'm really hoping to get to watch that anime once I go on my little break after working on my current game project, just because it seems like it'll be right up my alley. Well then everybody, that just about does it for this week, so it's about time we move on to your quest for the week of October 27th through to November 2nd. The bands system? That's right everybody, your job is going to be to look through the old virtual reality rig design videos that I did in the past and figure out what the main component that was going to be a part of the bands system was going to be. I'll give you guys a few hints here because you guys are going to have to provide 4 data points in order to get the clear for this quest. The first thing that you need to provide is the name of the company, both names actually, because they've actually changed it. So you have to provide the name of the company as well as the product that was involved in the band system that they created, as well as their newest product, which is actually a pair of smart glasses. They both have a very direct or blunt name for what they actually are, and the company's 2 names are kind of very different, but you should be able to find it if you manage to find out what the first company was or look up what the first product is. And to give you guys another hint, no, it is not Advancer Technologies who is behind the MyoWare, which I am currently using, as well as the older version of their product that I was initially planning on using as well. So that's just about it, everybody. That's what you guys have to do, and the first person to clear this quest will get the sketch spot for next week. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here on this journey up to this point that we've managed to reach, because that original 2013 design may not be exactly what I'm going to build, because I'm building something even cooler and even better. So yeah, everybody, we're on the ground stages here. We're finally leaving the town of beginnings. Tutorial work is done. We're getting the final job cleared here. So thank you very much, my fellow adventurers and dreamers, for following this video. If you guys want to keep up with everything that's going on with the channel and whatever I'm doing, follow me on Twitter right over here at MarkystalVR in order to keep up to date with everything. Just because I tend to first post things on Twitter just because it's a nice snappy medium and it lets me just get things out there really quickly without having to put in a lot of extra work to prepare a very big post or anything. And also make sure that you follow us on the Discord server. Just join in, just because it's a nice, fun place to have interesting discussions about the future of technology, virtual reality, Sword Art Online, Ready Player One, or any interesting technological projects and virtual dreams you guys have too. So make sure you join in on there just to find a whole bunch of like-minded people who you could hopefully converse with in the future. Thank you very much, everybody, again, for watching this video and for supporting the channel. Actually, on that note, remember, I am going to be releasing a video pretty soon. It's going to go over ways in which you can more directly help out the channel in the future. It'll primarily revolve around stuff like commissions, donations, as well as other things like that. So, thank you very much for keeping up with this, and I hope that you'll be looking forward to that in the future. Till next time, my fellow adventurers and dreamers, this has been Gregory, logging out.